Hello everyone and welcome back to Drama Made Simple. So if you haven't seen my last two videos, you might want to check these out before this one. So I've done one on Stanislavski System in general, just an introduction if you don't know what method acting is. And the last video was on relaxation. So we're following along with that sort of spiritual or mental skill that you need to be able to connect to your character and be ready for anything on stage. So last time we did relaxation. And that's very important for you to be able to let go of anything that happened during the day and really be able to concentrate on your work as an actor and really be able to get into your role. So the next thing that you'll need as part of your mental skill is concentration. And I titled this video How to Avoid Stage Fright, and that's because concentration plays a big role in that. Have you ever been so focused on a task that you just completely forget about everything else or like don't notice anything going on? I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but it's like, okay, if you haven't, this is a big spoiler. Okay, if you haven't seen it, it's the first link below, and I want you to go and watch that video first. Pause this video, please don't spoil it. It's not my fault if it's spoiled, it's your fault because you didn't pause the video. Pause it, go do it. Okay, so it's like people passing and it's count the number of passes. I think most people have seen this video, so you probably have. And it's the number of passes, like you want to count how many passes. And at the end, it's like, how many passes did you get? Oh, it's this amount. But did you see the gorilla? And I swear the first time I did it, I didn't see it because my brain was like, I want to get the right answer. I need to do this. My brain was so focused and I didn't see the gorilla. So if you can remember from your first time doing it, or if that was your first time doing it, comment below if you saw the gorilla, because I didn't. I do now, obviously. But yeah, basically your brain is weird and it will focus on tasks more than it should. Like even the other day, I was getting my lunch ready in work and I needed to go and microwave it, and I completely just my one track mind, my brain was like, let's get this food in the microwave. And right beside me at the window were two of my friends doing crazy faces trying to get my attention, and I did not notice them at all because I was like, let's get lunch. So your brain actually is very bad at multitasking, which is actually a really good thing for actors, because if you're on stage and you are genuinely interested in completing a task, then you don't have time. Your brain doesn't have time to be worrying about the audience or taking into account the audience, because you're focused on that task, and something that you need to do is carry out whatever task it is. So we're going to be talking about how to do that in today's video. And that's actually one of the ways we help kids who have stage fright. If they were performing a poem, for example, we tell them to get up on stage, and if they're too nervous to do it, they tie their shoe while they're saying their poem. And it's a focus of trying to tie their shoe that causes them to forget about the audience and stop being so afraid. So one of the first exercises that you need to practice if you're trying to focus on your concentration is an exercise called Circles of Attention from Stanislavski System. And if you have some lamps or some different lights, that can be really helpful, because you could do this exercise with lights, and I'll explain how to do that. But if not, you're just going to be focusing on visualizing different circles. So the point of this is to be able to assign a circle around you of concentration or attention, where that's the only area that you are allowed to focus on and everything outside of that doesn't exist. And it definitely takes a while and a lot of practice to get to the stage of really being able to say, I won't be looking past these, theater walls and out into the audience. And it does take a while, but you will get there. You do need to practice it. So if you have a couple different lights in the space you're in, you'd want to be sitting directly below sort of a larger light, and then have a lamp close by to you, and then a smaller torch, so that you could gradually increase the size of your circle. So as you turn on each light, the circle around you of light or of what you can see should be increasing. But if not, you can just imagine it. So the first thing you want to do is imagine that there's a hula hoop around you, and in that hula hoop, that's all that you can see. And when you take this hula hoop with you, you're only focusing on that small space around you. So you want to practice that for a little while. And these exercises, they do take you a while. So I'm just going to talk about them, because otherwise I'd be saying try this for 5 minutes and I'll just be sitting here. So this is basically how the exercise works, and you want to try that yourself at home. To start off with that hula hoop size, walk around for a few minutes, really trying to only look inside that space and trying to sort of focus your eyes only in that space and not have them be able to extend out further. And once you've done that for a while and become comfortable, you want to extend it to, let's say, if you stretch out your arms fully, then that whole space around you, that can be your next, and that's the only window of things going on. So pick a few tasks to do around your house, but only, like, even if it was like writing in your diary or like cooking a meal, and try and only focus in that space. Don't be looking across the room for anything. Just be like, okay, if I need this, then I have to go and get that. And really focusing your attention in on that sort of arm's length radius. So once you've tried that for a few minutes, you want to extend it to maybe like 3 arms length or like a room size radius where everything in that room is what you can take in. And after that, you want to extend it past a room. So like if there's windows in the room, you want to have everything outside as part of your radius, and really trying to take in all of those things can be quite difficult. So it's a gradual exercise. It does take a while to go through, and the idea is that like eventually you should shrink down the circles again so that when you're on stage you'll have a set circle that you're comfortable with, and that's all you need to know in terms of things that are happening on stage so that you don't get carried away looking at the audience. So that's the first idea, is that you can focus your attention on a smaller radius instead of letting the audience really in. The second thing that you can do is to focus your attention on a specific object, and being able to do that is very helpful, and we're going to practice that by really trying to take in all of the information of an object that's in front of you, like trying to remember all of the details. And you can do this with an object you have at home, but it's usually better to do one that you haven't seen. So I'm going to put up a picture here of an object, and I'm going to leave it up for about 20 seconds. And then you want to be studying it, and I want you to remember as much as you can, like all the details of that object. So try and remember literally everything about it, all of the details, the size, shape, color, as much as you can about the object. Okay, so now I want you to just pause the video and try and say as much as you can about the object, like tell me everything about it. Try or even write down as much as you can remember. So just pause the video and take a couple seconds to do that. Okay, so we're going to do that again, but this time I'm going to leave you a little bit longer to observe the object, and it's going to be the same, but you're going to have a bit more time to be able to try and remember more. And this time the aim would be to try and extend your knowledge about the object. Okay, so now, like, while you'll understand a lot of the key characteristics of the object, it's not really enough for your character to be able to be interested in the object. So when you think about it, no matter where your character is, they're going to have some sort of relationship to the stage and to the objects. So I want you to try and come up with a backstory for this object, for the character, like why it would be something that they'd be interested in. So try and come up with like a reason they'd be interested in it, why they should be looking at it, why they would be interacting with it, or why they would want to interact with it, and some sort of importance in the character's life. Take a couple seconds to do that. And once you've done that, I really want to hear everyone's answers, because I think it'll be so interesting. It's always one of my favorite things to do, is like any sort of improv like that where people come up with like reasons for things. So I really want to hear your answers. So please do comment below what the motivation or the importance for that object was for your character and whatever character it was that kind of came to mind when you were doing it. So the last thing that you want to be able to do is to be able to focus on a task on stage, and that'll be the easiest way for you to ignore the audience, is if you have a genuine thing you need to do on stage. So if you have to count cards on stage, actually count them. Or if you are looking for something on stage, have someone hide it for you so that you really can't find it. That's one of the best ways to really be involved in a task, because if you actually don't know the answer, or you have some real reason to do it. If you have to do anything on stage, come up with a real reason for it, and then you'll be able to really focus on it because it's important to you. So for example, if you needed to count some money on stage, whatever reason you're doing that, like the money is probably important to the character in some way. Maybe it's some of their first money they've earned as a business owner, and the way they'll count that is very different to anybody else because it's so important to them, and the task is important. So if you're really invested in the task, first of all, you won't be invested in the audience, but the audience will be very invested in you because they want to actually see what you're doing and they want to know why you're so focused on a task. So being able to concentrate is very important. So yeah, this video was all about trying to concentrate your attention on different things on stage so that you can really forget about the audience and ignore them. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. This will be a series on this channel where we go through different Stanislavski techniques. So if you want to see more of those, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell down below so you know when new videos are uploaded. And I will see you guys in the next video.